7 men have been convicted today of the traumatic sexual abuse of 2 girls over a 5-year period as part of an investigation into the Rotherham grooming scandal. The girls were aged between 11 and 16 at the time of the offences in the early 2000s, when they were groomed and often plied with alcohol or cannabis before being raped or sexually assaulted. It is said the girls would often be collected by their abusers from children's homes where they lived at the time. The attacks took place at locations around Rotherham, including in a park, in a car, in a supermarket car park, in a cemetery, and even behind a children's nursery. One of the girls was taken to a hotel where she was raped by 2 men. The same girl was also locked inside one of her abusers' homes where she was raped on at least 2 occasions before escaping by climbing out of the window. The men were found guilty of a series of offences on Wednesday following a 9-week trial at Sheffield Crown Court. They are as follows: Mohammed Amir, Rotherham, who was found guilty of 2 counts of indecently assaulting an 11-year-old girl. Yasir Ajibi, Rotherham, was also found guilty of indecently assaulting an 11-year-old girl. Mohammed Zamir Siddiq, Rotherham, was found guilty of rape and sexual intercourse with a girl under 13 years old. Mohammed Saeed, Rotherham, was found guilty of 2 counts of rape, sexual intercourse with a girl under 13 years and trafficking within the UK for sexual exploitation. Abid Siddiq, Rotherham, was found guilty of 3 counts of rape, including 1 girl under 13 and indecently assaulting of a 12-year-old girl. Tahir Yassin of Sheffield was found guilty of 8 counts of rape, and Ramin Bari, Sheffield, was found guilty of 4 counts of rape. They will be sentenced on September the 12th and 13th at the same Crown Court. The prosecution follows a 5-year investigation by officers from the National Crime Agency Operation Stovewood, which is the UK's biggest investigation into child abuse. It's very telling again that these young children at the time were actually being picked up from the care homes where they actually stayed at, where they should have been looked after and should have been in some form of safety. They were actually being picked up by these men who then went on to sexually abuse them, rape them and just use them basically. These young children were exploited by these particular individuals over a set period of time. It's hard not to think that these men did not have relations, sisters, even daughters of that particular same age of these young girls, and they had no empathy, pity at all towards these young girls. This is a quote from Senior Investigating Officer Stuart Cobb. What happened to them was appalling. Their attackers were cruel, manipulative men who thought it was fine to take advantage of vulnerable young girls, I'm going to say / children, and dehumanise their victims in the worst possible ways. No doubt when it comes to these men actually being sentenced, that they'll all have glowing references. They'll have references from the local imam, the mosque, etc., and all the great work they do for the community. And no doubt 1 or 2 will be looking after elderly relatives, which we've seen before when it comes to a defence being rolled out. It's just another sickening crime. For me, and for a lot of people in this country, this is a real national scandal. How it was allowed to happen for the years it happened. And only now are we seeing some justice for a lot of these victims, these who were children at the time. And again, it's so harrowing to read just the headlines today. I've read it from 3 respective newspapers, articles, basically covering the same sort of stuff. But you can imagine, you don't want to imagine what they're not telling you. That's the sort of disturbing thing about it, because they do allude to this particular case, saying it's a very, very disturbing case. So my heart goes out for these particular 2 young girls. They're not young girls now, but they're grown women, and any of the victims of what have suffered at the hands of these grooming gangs. So God bless everybody, take care and catch up with you soon.